Alfa Laval plate heat exchangers enjoy a worldwide reputation for quality and reliability. They're expected to give trouble-free operation year in and year out, and rightly so. But even an Alfa Laval unit is subject to wear and tear and will eventually require some form of maintenance to ensure continued superior performance. Sooner or later, depending on medium, temperature and pressure, your plate heat exchanger will begin to show signs of needing service. In general terms, these are fouling and clogging, excessive buildup of deposits on the plates and/or blockage of the inlets by foreign objects, internal leakage, corrosion or erosion damage of the plates, which results in loss of media integrity, external leakage. The gaskets have deteriorated with age or due to chemical attack. Under such conditions, you have to restore the unit to full performance again. Now, there are two options available to the customer. Either cleaning and regasketing in-house by the customer himself, or reconditioning at an Alfa Laval service center. Now, in this video, we will concern ourselves how you perform on-site cleaning and regasketing of your PHE. One of the ground rules is never to open your plate heat exchanger merely for routine inspection. If, however, you're having problems which you suspect derive from your plate heat exchanger, check the temperature and pressure and compare the readings with the original design specifications. If there are significant deviations, it's time to consider opening the unit. At this point, you may wish to contact an Alfa Laval service engineer for advice on how to proceed. Before you open your plate heat exchanger, please remember that the only way to avoid problems once it's back on stream is to follow the instructions closely. Begin by taking the unit out of service. Close the inlet valve to the high pressure end first, then the other one. Then close the outlet valves. Media that solidify should be drained off before the unit temperature has dropped too much. If you've got an external leak, it'll make things a lot easier if you mark one or more of the plates before you take the PHE out of service. And if you suspect an internal leak and can free one of the lower portholes, then pressurize the other side and have a look inside to see whether you can locate the leak. Before opening the unit, measure the plate pack across. Count the plates and jot down how many there are. You will need this information later on when you reassemble the unit. Remove the protective coverings from the bolts and clean the bolts with a stainless steel wire brush. Lubricate the threads and washers, if any, with molybdenum disulfide. The time has now come to remove the bolts. Begin by removing the two middle ones. You are now left with two bolts at the top and two at the bottom. These are removed according to a set pattern. Loosen them gradually by turns using a ratchet spanner or, as in this case, a pneumatic tightening tool. The movable covers should be kept parallel to the fixed cover during the entire opening process. Otherwise, you will damage the plates. Disengage each plate individually, first from the lower guide bar and then from the top carrying bar. In order to simplify reassembling the pack, we recommend that you number each plate at the top with a permanent marker. Once you have ascertained the extent and type of fouling, it's time to choose an appropriate cleaning method. Start in right away, since dry deposits tend to be more difficult to remove. The simplest way to deal with organic fouling is to scrub the plate with a hard fiber brush, and then to rinse it with hot water. You can also use a high-pressure water jet. Inorganic deposits are removed in the same way, only you have to soak the plates in a mild chemical bath. Now, if you're uncertain as to which cleaning chemicals to use, contact an Alfa Laval service engineer, and he'll give you the advice you need. If any of the plates are damaged, reorder new plates from Alfa Laval. Now that the plates have been properly cleaned, it's time to reassemble the pack. But before you do, make sure that the gaskets are in good condition. In some applications, they can last for decades, but in more aggressive environments, they may need changing in only a few years' time. There are two basic types of gasket to choose from: glue-free and glued. Glue-free gaskets carry the name of snap-on or clip-on and are extremely easy to remove and to fit. Glued gaskets can be removed by heating the back of the groove with a propane gas burner or a hot air gun. Take care not to damage the plate and avoid exposure to toxic fumes. Clean the groove with a stainless steel wire brush or wheel. Clean the entire plate with mild washing up liquid and water. Make sure you are using the correct type of glue for the application and gasket material in question. Clean the groove with acetone or alcohol. Apply a thin string of glue to the center of the groove. Now place the gasket in the groove using tape to hold it in place while it dries. The plates should be stacked in the proper sequence and allowed to dry for about 12 to 24 hours in room temperature at about 300 kilos per square meter of pressure, or 60 pounds per square foot. When the glue has cured, the plates should be inspected to ensure the gaskets are in the proper position. Before you start to regasket, check to see what's available by way of new gasket types. New improved materials are constantly being developed by Alfa Laval to suit specific applications. Well, now it's time to start reassembling the plate heat exchanger. But remember, the correct procedure must be followed. Make sure that the frame linings are clean. Clean and lubricate the carrying bars so that the plates travel smoothly. Hang the plates in the correct order. Starting at the top, wipe the gasket with a clean cloth to ensure best possible contact with the next plate. It's useful to know that the plates are designed never to misalign in the frame. They can, however, be placed in the wrong position. When everything is in order, the edges of the plates should form a honeycomb pattern. If you're using snap-on or clip-on gaskets, make sure that the gasket is properly centered in the groove and that the tabs form a uniform pattern when the pack is closed. Make sure the bolts are clean and lubricated with molybdenum disulfide. When closing the pack, leave the corner and carrying bar bolts, if any, until last. Begin with the upper and lower bolts. As before, tighten gradually, by turn, diagonally. Check to make sure that the distance between the frame plate and the pressure plate is exactly the same as it was before the unit was opened. Measurements should be taken at every bolt head. And remember, one thing that you must never do is to tighten the plate pack too much, as this may cause plate deformation and damage the gaskets. Ventilate the unit. If there isn't any ventilation valve, start the pump against the closed valve and open it slowly. Open the outlet valves and then open the inlet valves carefully. With new gaskets, start up the cold side first to avoid the risk of crushing. With old gaskets, start the hot side first to revive the gasket force. As an added safety precaution after starting up, check the entire unit for signs of external leakage. And finally, make sure that the operating temperature and the pressure correspond to the given specifications. You have now seen a step-by-step account of how to go about cleaning and regasketing a plate heat exchanger. In-house servicing can be both practical and economical as a strategy for dealing with concrete problems such as blockages and leakage. But when it comes to reconditioning and full-scale inspections, the only viable alternative is to contact Alfa Laval. After all, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.